Hi, my name is Greg. I'm an environmental science major here at CSUMB. I've chosen to do my case study on hydraulic fracturing and other controversial well stimulation techniques going on in California. My study will attempt to answer whether or not current federal and state regulations adequately take into consideration the unique risks that these techniques pose to California specifically. To answer this question, I will first evaluate and quantify the specific risks posed to California from these techniques, and second, I will try to understand the overall policy landscape of in the United States and California to recommend policy routes that completely balance the environmental and economic concerns of California in order to consider the interests of everyone involved. The current factors influencing risks involving these techniques in California that will be explored by this case study involve the extremely unique geological characteristics of the Monterey Formation and their relationship to proximity to groundwater and their influence on the different techniques that will be used successfully to exploit the resources in the Monterey Formation. So we've all seen and heard the recent news reports of people lighting their tap water on fire and screaming about how everyone's groundwater is doomed because of hydraulic fracturing. These examples come from shale formations such as the Marcellus in Pennsylvania, the Bakken in North Dakota, or the Barnett in Texas. Um, these are all gas-bearing shales called black shales that are composed mostly of carbonate materials with relatively predictable geology that are between 350 and 390 million years old. They have low permeabilities that are very conducive to hydraulic fracturing, and hydraulic fracturing is the major method of exploiting these resources. However, in order to correctly evaluate the situation going on in California, it's extremely important to realize the differences between these shale formations and the Monterey Shale Formation in California. The formation in California is a lot younger, about 25 million years old, with immensely varying geological characteristics due to the unique climactic, oceanic, and tectonic events in California's history. The geology varies immensely with depth, location, and thickness. All these factors contribute to its hydrocarbon potential. Um, Given these different geologies between the different types of shales, the techniques used to exploit these shales also vary. Aside from just fracking, in California, a technique called acidization is also used, where hydrochloric or hydrofluoric acid is injected to the well to improve permeability of the formation. So each technique used in California poses new risks which must be evaluated and regulated accordingly. So because the Monterey Formation is still in such a developmental stage in regards to its further exploitation, there have been very little studies performed on the effects of these techniques, taking into consideration the unique situation in California. So this lack of data creates huge problems in quantifying these risks. Policy-wise, the Public Resources Code in California delegates the regulation of oil and gas drilling to the Department of Conservation's Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources. Until recently, they had not exercised their authority to regulate hydraulic fracturing or well stimulation. But on September 20th, California Senate and the governor signed Senate Bill number 4, which aimed to regulate hydraulic fracturing. It did three things. One, it mandated that Dodger, along with other agencies, create and enact regulations regarding hydraulic fracturing by January of 2015. It also created a permit process that prior to the bill did not exist. Third, it mandated the gathering of data on hydraulic fracturing and well stimulation in California through a study to be conducted by the Natural Resources Agency by January 15. January 2015, as well as a statewide environmental impact report to be conducted by Dodger. Stakeholders may include varying petroleum associations associated with the industry, as well as some companies such as Veneco, which are heavily involved in exploitation of the Monterey Formation. So by taking into consideration the unique geological situation of California, as well as the views of these stakeholders, I will determine how California should regulate these practices to balance related environmental concerns with the need for economic growth and energy independence. Thank you.